Okay, let's see if I can do it this way. Achievement is the sense of knowing you've completed something you deem is worthy of recognition. Many times we fail to recognize the significance of our achievements, and it is often left to others to remind us of what we have accomplished. To recognize an achievement, you must first look inwards and acknowledge that you have excelled and completed the task. Learn to recognize what your achievements are, then acknowledge and celebrate them. It's not egotistical to celebrate your wins, provided you remain humble in the knowledge you have also learnt some lessons along the way. Explanation. You're in the final stages of completing a major milestone in your life. You haven't quite reached the finish line yet, but it is in sight. But you'll get there quicker than you anticipate, which will put you into a spin. You've been seeing this finish line in the distance for so long, you never really considered what you would do once you get there. When you do cross the line, it will be the end of an era and the start of a new one. Embarking on a new era can be daunting, but can also be filled with endless opportunities to recreate and reinvent yourself. Before you start the final dash to the finish line, think about what you want next in life. When you step up to the winner's circle, have a clear direction where you want to go next and how you want your life to be. Told you she'd tell me. Okay, so let's put that in context here. Final stages. So, the finish line. Right? Quicker than you anticipate. So we do have, what we do know is I do not have major arcana here. This is all feeling, this is all temporary energy, this is all possibly psychological energy. Okay, more psychological and spiritual than astrological. Although, of course, totally shaped by the astrology, by the events of your chart that have to happen. But there is nothing saying that it has to be that there is actually all of this. It's going to take a long time. This is how it feels then, is what she's telling me. Because I don't have major arcana here telling me that yes, it's going to take a long time. Right, okay. So we might have a state of feeling like there's so much more to go. Definitely not knowing, and we do have a spin. We totally have a spin happening, yes. What to do once you get there. So this plan, this king with the plan that's stuck. And the 0 and 1. With this Ace of Cups. What do you want? Who are you? And these two things that need to be reconciled, these two aces that need to be reconciled, yes. That's what they're saying. Where do you want to go next? So this opportunity and who you are. So that is what's going on here. The communication that's down. Final stages of completing a major milestone. And that's why. Okay. Thank you, Mel. And Mel's ancestors. Next, we will get into Susan's Celtic mirror. Okay, so here's how Susan Sheppard. Okay, thanks, Susan. Here's how she does this layout where she'll put Saturn, Sun, Moon, Venus, Saturn, Uranus, Pluto, can't remember if there's a Mars. There might be. Okay. Mercury. Did I say Mercury? So I'm going to read for the card, the mirror card, in all of those positions. Okay. And we'll see, because they're complementary, it could be, I'm just going to leave it focused like that. Okay. Maybe what I'll do is zoom in like that for now while I'm reading, okay? How's that? And I'll put this up here and you can meditate on these while I'm reading, if that makes sense. Okay. But I'm reading for this, obviously. So in the sun position, how do you see yourself? What's your essence? Where is your strength? In what ways do your friends and your peers presently view you? What type of energy do you currently generate? Okay, that's what we're talking about in the sun position. For me, sun is all about instincts and triggers. Now I'm just stuck right at the bottom here. This card choice indicates a deepening of your psychic powers and an intensified will. You're concerned with matters of life and death and show little interest in the common or mundane. It's impossible for you to be lukewarm. The energy you generate is dynamic and overwhelming. Old friends may shun this strange new you, but you'll develop more eccentric, fascinating relationships to take their place. Your mind often turns to the mysteries surrounding death and the possibility of an afterlife. You're most in tune with the unseen world. Do not be surprised if you encounter ghosts and spirits along the way. A veil is now being lifted. Thanks, Debbie. I mean, with Susan, there's a good chance to speak of ghosts and spirits. Susan also did ghost tours. And somebody dressed in white feathers came to me the day that she died in a lucid dream. I didn't know that was the day she died until months later. In the moon position. Moon position referring to what wisdom you have gleaned from the past that affects your present life. What are your habits? What unconscious urges does your soul presently radiate? And for me, moon is conscience, says Kristen. All right, so the Celtic mirror in the moon position. Yours is the ability to penetrate and pierce any mystery now. Your perceptive powers are at an all-time peak level. The unconscious mind is sending out many powerful messages that you must heed. There is a sense of looking through everything to see at a core level the way things really are. Do not mistake this for cynicism. Do not mistake this for cynicism. You're looking at the mirrored surface of the pond while perceiving the hidden life at the bottom. So don't let anybody convince you otherwise, basically, right? Okay. So we're not dicking around here. Mercury position. What are your current thinking patterns? In what way do you reason or discriminate? How are you presently communicating with others? What is the hidden power of your mind? And of course, this being for me, Virgo, but also we have this strong, we have mastermind thinking. So we've got strong Mercury energy on the table. Your mind has taken a sharp turn. Wow. And developed a cutting edge. Ease up on any tendency towards cynicism or sarcasm. You're able to see through the facade and get to the core of any issue. You're feeling especially curious about secrets, and it's difficult for others to win your trust. You're more in tune with the collective unconscious now. Your intellectual prowess is magnified by its newfound depth. This is a time when wishes are fulfilled. Okay. So the difficulty is in the knowing We've got some Scorpio problems going on because, yeah, you don't want to cut through things. That's not what the energy is for. Okay. That's me adding my little thoughts. Also because this Ace of Cups repeating, right? You don't want the cynicism to, yeah. Okay. So that was the Mercury position. Now in the Venus position, and the Venus position is all about how can you create a more beautiful life for yourself and others? How do you relate as a lover? In what ways do you bring peace and harmony to the world? How can you further develop your creativity and aesthetic sense? The Celtic mirror in the Venus position indicates a need for intense involvements. You tend to handle intimate involvements with an obsessive zeal. You're not an easy person to approach, but when you do give yourself to another person, it's with total and absolute loyalty. Such powerful expectations can cause disappointments that create a certain burnout or cynicism on your part. Most people take relationships more lightly than you do. It's important that you learn to ease up on your intensity. Unless you do, each relationship will create an unhappy experience for all involved. Learn to be more at ease with your feelings and to love both lightly and deeply. There must be a balance for good feelings to flower. So we're talking about expectations. Right? So we need, that's where these need to be victorious together. The happiness and the love. In the Saturn position, I still have the card, I can put it more centrally, can't I? Yes, okay. In the Saturn position, which is about how do you presently limit and restrict yourself, in what way can you better formulate your goals? What karmic memories and gifts do you possess that you can now teach others? What are the temptations of your lower self? Any misuse of power in a past life now reaps certain harsh karmic debts. Now, Kristen has her own views on karma, okay? But I'm going to leave that for now because I can't prove one way or the other. Okay, back to Susan. You're going through a painful transition. Now is the time to let go of desires and attachments. If you continue to cling to false beliefs, your suffering will continue. It's important that you see the writing on the wall. You've already outgrown many dysfunctional relationships. Allow them to die naturally so your soul can move into a more joyful state of being. Okay, so that's what we were saying about, or what I was saying about this. If there's any toxicity, right? Rightly or wrongly, whoever put these swords around you. And since communication is down, so what false beliefs? Well, it's going to be different for everybody, isn't it? But this is a long way to come to still have any false beliefs. All right, in the Uranus position or the Urania position, how can you awaken the genius of your true potential? What makes you unique, sets you apart from others? How can you learn to integrate your talents and gifts through knowing others? What kind of a friend are you? I just want to go. If we're talking about karma, she said in the Saturn position, what karmic memories and gifts do you possess that you can now teach others? So what happened in the past? Let's forget whether it's karmic. What are the pain points, yeah, that you are turning into teachable moments, shall we say? Okay, so now back to Uranus, Urania, and your unique self. Integrating your talents and gifts through knowing others. What kind of a friend are you? Here we go. You have a unique ability to inspire individuals to realize the true nature of their own potential. Whether you recognize it or not, you have the power to arouse and affect others for better or for worse. You have fresh insights, and your strong life force invigorates people. You can understand by instinct what to do or what not to do at any given moment. You need to be free to move about and express yourself, or else you may become an unthinking anarchist. Make sure that... I like anarchy. Okay, anyway, make sure that you always work for good. Don't wipe out the positive along with the negative. You are a free spirit moving in a radical wind. Your genius is to inspire and motivate others. Right, so exactly a teacher. Okay. In the Pluto position, then we'll wrap this up, which is about what are your current obstacles. In what ways might you be too forceful? How might you be better understood? What's the deepest nature of your psychic gifts? How can you continue to transform yourself and the world for the betterment of all? For that position, bizarre impulses enter your mind, which you feel compelled to control. You need not fear these strange, unusual thoughts. Now's the time to probe to the very roots of the ancient tree. You may be surprised to find light there. You're entering a new realm. Beware of compulsions that hold your thoughts prisoner. You don't need to act on every thought. Your psyche is undergoing a cleansing cycle. Psychic experiences are born out of this new vision. Your character gains strength now. There we go. Hang on. That's what's going on. Your psyche is undergoing a cleansing cycle. You don't need to act on every thought. Psychic experiences are born out of this new vision. Your character gains strength now. Right, so heavy emphasis on psychic connections. Heavy, heavy emphasis. Okay, thank you, Susan. All right, so let's just go a little light here. Well, it might not go light at all. First door. Bless this space. Your sacred space holds the soul to bear. Palo Santo or sage will clear the air. So look after your surroundings. Protect them. Yes, because if you're going through all kinds of interesting stuff, you're going to be in contact with all kinds of beings. Yes. Kiss the ground and touch the sky. Your soul is set now to leap and to fly. Well, it is or it isn't. It's saying it is. And then this shadow and light. Morning memory. Its healing gift runs a destined course. The morning dawn, our inspired source. Meditate under the sun. Actually, and the last time we got this, I did that. I ended up doing that. They ended up putting me in a situation where there was suddenly sun on a very cloudy day. And they caught me in transit somewhere. And I actually did solve a problem by jumping on that. So, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. And now for Kuan Yin. Wild Kuan Yin. Let's get... Because remember, you've got that Six of Wands here with that achievement. That cross to bear, but that achievement. The necessary change, yes, from the Five of Cups. So that's Scorpio energy, yes. And remember this other door, the first door. Yep, change beckons. The path is shifting. The road leads a new way. Do not be alarmed as change beckons today. And it's... we have all that temple energy again. Underworld. Yep. Okay. So let's just start with this other Kuan Yin, the one that we started with. It's never too late. If you have forgotten who you are, know that your true self has not gone away and never will. Underneath every layer of conditioning, under all twisting and turning and trying to fit into some shape to please others, your true self remains true, ready and waiting to rise up in original gorgeousness and glory. It's never too late for you to choose to be you. That one's deep. Well done, Alana. Cards are always great, but that is actually something to pause and meditate on and read and reread. If we're going through... oh, and I should actually let you actually see it properly. Remember, I got this card for Pisces in a Pisces reading months ago. So that Pisces, the ability to be every house, to be every astrological house and every astrological sign, to empathize, but not only empathize, but to actually step into the problems and the considerations and the thinking and the methods, the aura of each sign. You are one of a kind. Your own path will never be exactly the same as anyone else's. The type of frequency you hold is as individual as your fingerprints. That uniqueness cannot ever be taken from you, co-opted by another, or compromised in any way. Relish your uniqueness and share it lovingly, freely, joyfully with the world. So again, avoiding the cynicism. Avoiding the sarcasm and the cynicism. Okay, because it's critical. It would leave you prone and vulnerable. Okay? Well, my thanks to you. My thanks to Debbie. My thanks to Mark. And Ghost Adventures, no matter how. And Nick Groff and his own pursuits, but yeah. Okay. So here's how we start. Now the Sun has just entered Libra. Just entered Libra. Venus has already been way past Libra. Venus just entered Sagittarius. Venus just entered Sagittarius. Lined up with the first star of Sagittarius today. So, that's something big affecting this right now, I believe. Okay. And Mercury still has to get past Spica again. So we're still in strong Spica energy. Chitra. So that creative, the great architect energy that can be moral or amoral or immoral, depending on what you bring to it. Depending on what you bring to it. It's a wild card. It'll go any which way. Okay. Much love. And that's for about another week or so, at least, I'd say. Much, much love. Thank you. Bye. Okay, actually, two things happened while I was clearing up. And I just want to come back. Remember the compassion card that came out at the beginning in the pre-read? At the bottom of the Divine Doors deck, this is what's first stopped me and reminded me of the compassion card. But this door was at the bottom of the deck. Intuition, which is a word that isn't a word, it's psychic. Or your mind did what your mind does and figured things out for itself. Simple, complex, words of pain or words that heal. You come to know truth by the way that it feels. Because I'm reflecting on the emphasis that Susan's cards made on avoiding cynicism and sarcasm. And why? Because it's reactive, and you don't want to be reactive in what you're going to be doing. You want to be retaining control as much as possible. Not in an abusive way or in a cold way, but exactly in the way that is meaning. So this was waiting to speak to me, and that prompted me to remember to go back. Now, when I got the cards, I went through the whole deck and I couldn't find compassion, and it had dropped off by itself at the bottom of the deck, and underneath it was this other card, indecision, indecisive. Okay, so I'm going to see if my battery will let me read both of those, and I'll just zoom in on them. And I'll put that door where you can see it. Okay? And I'll just read the explanations. Compassion is something you're not very familiar with. For some reason you believe compassion is a weakness of character and should not be indulged in. Wrong. There are certain issues you feel very strongly about, and you feel if you listen to the other side of the argument, this will be seen as a sign of giving in. If you do in fact listen, you'll find a different perspective to the situation and be surprised it's not unlike what you believe. It's just coming from a different angle. Let your guard down and let people see who you really are. Don't be scared that they won't like you, because the fact is they will see you as a different person and will soften to you. This is a great time to form new friendships and begin new relationships. Compassion is being able to define the differences between sympathy and empathy. Sympathy is about feeling another person's plight and being caught up in the trauma and emotions of the situation. Sympathy makes it difficult for you to separate yourself from the feelings they are experiencing. Empathy is about understanding what the person's plight is without taking on the feelings associated with the problem. There's some degree of separation with empathy, as you witness the person's feelings and situation, rather than be caught up in it. Be clear when you are supporting or judging people as to which is more beneficial to the situation: sympathy, empathy, or compassion. And again, compassion is being able to define the differences between sympathy and empathy. But this indecision that was underneath it, or indecisive. You are feeling trapped. Oh, there's that Eight of Swords. And backed into a corner with no idea what to do next. You do not trust your own intuition and are handling your control to others whom you feel are more qualified, handing your control to others who you feel are more qualified to make the decision. Stop now. You're just stalling for time with your indecisiveness. You know what you have to do, but are scared to take the steps to rectify the problem. Take control and do what needs to be done and get back to your life. Initially, there will be discontent from others involved, but quickly afterwards, the positive results you envisage begin to occur. You'll kick yourself for stalling for so long. After all, it wasn't that bad anyway. There are many reasons why we lack courage to make the hard decisions. During this limbo period, we're stuck with a sense of fear, a sense of incompleteness. During this indecisive time, we doubt ourselves, we lose our self-confidence, and look to others for guidance. It's okay to look to others for assistance, but ensure the decision you make is based on your own agenda and needs, not on others. Trust your own intuition during these times. Psychic. It's either psychic or your mind did the imagination problem-solving thing. Sometimes so you're getting it from somebody else or you're getting it from yourself. That's what intuition means. Otherwise, intuition's a non-word. But sometimes we just need to find that quiet space to listen to ourselves. The answers will always come. All right. That might have made everything that much more confusing, but it's in aid of this compassion, this avoiding, the point of it, I believe, is the reasons why to avoid cynicism and sarcasm. Okay, so I hope that helped. Much love again, and sorry if it didn't.